Two. All right, man. I love that intro.
That's a great intro. Who made that intro?
Was that
a Cody?
That's gonna be our man Carlo Saisu.
Oh, Carlo coming in with the heat.
That's right. And speaking of, he'll be back today after a little sickness. So welcome back, Carlo. Now, guys, we're back here with the Blue Review episode on 9/14. I know the Dodgers lost last night, but there weren't all L's. So we'll get to some of that next. But as always, Blue Review is presented by Los Angeles International Airport. Higher LAX creates life-changing opportunities for Los Angeles residents, and for more information, check out Higher LAX on Eventbrite. So, as always, I'm here with Greg Bourbon, Clinton Yates, Television Clinton Yates, and I am Parker Bell. Guys, I'm going to pass this along to you, Clinton, because I know that you wanted to speak on this. You were texting us last night. So why don't you just kind of start off on the topic?
So yesterday, as the Dodgers were getting dominated by Blake Snell, one of the better pitchers they faced in a long time, we'll discuss that later, there was a young lady who posted a picture of her son in a Mookie Betts jersey, standing in sort of like along the first baseline. You could see out over the lovely vista of Chavez Ravine, and the sun was going down. It was a young black kid who had a Mookie Betts jersey on, and it just said his first game. It said anything for you, son. And earlier in the thread, she had posted a video of her showing the kid. By the way, this was a really funny part of the video. She shows the kids the tickets. They're just printed out pieces of Xerox paper with a barcode. I was like, man, that experience has changed a lot since I was a child. But the kid was crying. He was really excited about going to his first baseball game. And obviously, there was a memorable moment made. Now, afterwards, the Dodgers found this tweet, said they had a gift for her. I do not know if that actually develops, Gregory, but I just really enjoyed it because anytime somebody gets to go to the ballpark for the first time and have that experience of learning and loving what the game of baseball is, it's always a good one and one we want to celebrate here at Blue Review.
So I looked all into this. When I saw the tweet, I went down the rabbit hole of all of her tweets and started looking at what was going on. So yeah, her name was Neek. I don't know what her real name is. I'm not going to guess, but she so she had to leave at one point. She couldn't leave. They found her. She told her where her seats were. Mm-hmm. They said they were going to come over. She ended up having to leave. She told them DM them. The Dodgers DM'd her and got her address, and now they're going to send her a box. So I think that's obviously really cool of just stuff, and I don't know what's going to be in there, but I'm sure she'll start to post that and see if you can find it that way.
Parker, let's not skip over the most important part here. Greg going behind the scenes.
Oh yeah,
to do actual journalistic work here is the headline of this entire situation. Why were you so compelled?
I don't know, because I love seeing that. That's amazing. It's an amazing story. This woman had no idea what baseball was. She's like, she didn't know anything about it. She's like, I don't know what baseball is. I don't know nothing about baseball, but she got the right jersey. She got a Mookie Betts jersey. She got all this stuff.
And not only too, which is the good looking one. Yeah,
exactly. She did all of it right. And then she actually originally had tickets in the top deck. And somebody, and his name is Andy Lopez. He's a listener to ESPN Los Angeles 710 and said, hey, I love this story. Here I have tickets. I can't go. You can have them. He sent them the tickets, and that's how she got onto the loge level and fantastic seats that you could see her son looking over the loge level. It was amazing, and I love that a listener did that. It's an incredible story.
This is the most corporate Greg story we've heard since we started this program. I mean, wow.
I usually don't like human interest stories, but I love this story.
Do you remember the first ball game you went to, Parker?
So yes, actually, I'm glad you asked. My family were Angel. I grew up in Orange County, so my family were Angel, season ticket holders. Sorry, guys, for so many years. And my first game, I was roughly 3 or 4 when they took me, and it was my grandpa. And bear with me. So I'm the oldest of all the grandkids and such. Okay. So I was the guinea pig. Now, Grandpa didn't know how to really handle a child at a game. I was pretty good. I was pretty good. I can't lie. But what he did was just stuff me with food.
It's the right thing to do.
And after that, when I got a little fussy, he started to shake me and pat me like it's okay.
Oh no.
And yeah, so the family in front of us did not have a good night because my first baseball game ended in some puke.
Hold on. There's no way you remember that, though. You must.
How old were you?
I was about 3 or 4.
You must have been told that story through family lore. When do you actually remember being sentient and going to the park as a child on your own? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, because that, I'm sure that happened, obviously, but there's no way you have any recollection of that.
Well, if you want to, I mean, okay, so my first sentient thought as a baseball fan, also at an Angels game, I was a huge Sean Figgins fan when I was little. So I went there rocking my Figgins giveaway jersey. Yeah. It was about 06, 07, yeah.
Okay, Sean Figgins. That's a name I did not expect to hear when we turned on the program today.
Shoney Figgins.
Yeah, played for the Dodgers as well. Forgot about that particular.
Yeah, it was very, very, very short. Very, very short.
Greg, what about you?
So, I mean, I don't remember the exact date. I don't remember how old I was. I know I was young. It was a Dodger game, and we went down, and I believe we had some decent seats, but my dad took me down to go get autographs before the game, and I had a what are they called? The program. I had a program, and I believe it was Mariano Duncan that signed it. And I held on to that forever. I was like, oh, I got a Mariano Duncan signed program. But that was my most sentient memory to your point, Parker.
You guys are acting like I'm using a foreign word by saying sentient. It just means that you can.
I know what it means.
All right.
It's just funny. It's just a funny way to put it. It's like,
for me, I think it is a funny way to put it. I think it was, I barely remember this, but I remember because I remember how cold it was. You know, growing up in DC didn't have a team until I was 24 years old. And so we'd always go to Baltimore to see games. Not that I was an O's fan or anything. It was just where other teams played. And my buddy had a birthday party. And we went to see, they played the Brewers, the Orioles did, at the old Memorial Stadium before Camden Yards was a thing. Like, for those of you who don't know, Camden Yards has not always been the ballpark that the Orioles played in. There was a Memorial Stadium, which was not nearly as nice of a place. And they played the Brewers.
Kind of a dump, right?
Yeah, it was a mega dump. And they played the Brewers, and I remember that because that's the first time I saw Gary Sheffield play, because he was on that team as a young man, and that's why Gary Sheffield's kind of my favorite player, because I remember he had like a monster game, and just the way he played, I was like, well, that guy's cool. You know,
I like the waggle.
And, the waggle was fun, but the way people forget that Sheff was a shortstop for many years.
Was he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he supplanted Robin Yount. Yeah, that's the deal. Sheff was that good, and so just watching him play was really fun to see. So yeah, that was my first time. I remember it very vividly. So,
oh, very nice. I had no idea that Gary Sheffield played.
How did you not know that?
I mean, he was always an outfielder to me. Every time when he was with the Marlins, when he was with the Dodgers.
Other way, he's a casual.
Yeah, you got to go the other way. He's pointing to the wall. The wall is a casual.
I know, right? Pointing to my washing machine. Yeah, but yeah. So that was my first.
Point to the microwave.
I'm glad that family. Did you see, by the way, update? I took the time off of the microwave. You know you can do that, right? Like you can actually change the display.
Why? You just don't want to know what time it is without
perhaps
looking at your phone?
Yeah, there's 2 right there. They're stacked. Anyway, I hope that family ends up getting another experience to go back, because that's the thing, is that once you're a kid and you catch the bug, you're going to want to return. So who knows?
Absolutely. And I love that it's just getting it.
There's your coffee, bro. Sorry I'm late.
Hey, needed to get my coffee delivered, guys.
Are you for real right now?
Parker's out here running bits.
Sorry, buddy. There's no milk, like you said.
It's okay.
Don't worry, Sliwa. It's not live.
9 o'clock next time, Slee.
Yeah,
this is great.
He's coming in here. You're going to come in here too now. Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks.
Okay.
Hey, I really appreciate that coffee.
Taking over.
Thanks.
Blue Review.
Hey, come on in.
Presented by LAX.
I appreciate it. You want to go on too? You want to say hi?
No, I don't want to say. I just want to drop off all the coffee. Yates, I got your laundry coming soon as well.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
God bless you all.
All unmarked bills. Is that what you want?
One game winning
streak. Really appreciate that, Slee. And actually, I got a Illy coffee. So
getting to the game last night.
You don't want to talk about coffee anymore?
Blake Snell. Well, we can, but Blake Snell looked great. Blake Snell looked great to the point where, A, you're a little bit worried about what this lineup's going to look like when they run up against an actual good pitcher in the playoffs, and B, what's it going to take to get Blake Snell on this team kind of good? You know what I mean? Because this is, what you're looking at down the line in terms of trying to replenish your starters at some point in seasons, gone by, because he's that good and he's the one guy the Padres haven't read up yet. So what did you think of his performance last night on the mound?
Blake Snell has always pitches well against the Dodgers. I'm just looking up at how many pitches. Okay, so he went 6 innings. And that's the thing with Blake Snell. He is always fantastic through 6 innings, and then you can't be around anymore. He can't go further than 6 innings. So in today's baseball, I think that's fine. It's a normal thing that can happen pretty regularly. But for some reason, when he gets to that point, he shuts down. He's a different pitcher. Either way, he pitches extremely well against the Dodgers, and I'm actually kind of terrified of him when it comes up, because I remember it was even in the World Series when he was with Tampa Bay. Unless Austin Barnes came up and got that single and got it back to Mookie Betts, they were not going to win that game. So he's a very good pitcher, and that's kind of what he does. He's a Cy Young winner this year, right?
You think so? You think he deserves it?
I think he wins a Cy Young. It's that easy.
I don't know that I agree with the idea that he can't go past 6. I know that I agree that the Rays thought that for a long time, and that he's been kind of conditioned into being that kind of a pitcher. That's a whole other story. But I think one of the things that's forgotten about that Rays team, as you mentioned, is that they did do that opener experiment thing, and they did it like all throughout the playoffs until they got to that World Series, and it worked. And
Sergio Romo.
And so if we talk about what we're looking at the Dodgers doing, I do think that World Series run from the Rays is instructive as to how this kind of method can be pulled off when it comes to postseason pitching management. I still think this is the big question for me in general, but yeah, Blake Snell is a guy who always throws well against the Dodgers and had a great outing last night too. Parker, did you watch the game?
So I checked out the highlights because I was having some fun last night and we saw a horror movie with the girl, and then
nice.
After that, we grabbed some tacos, But the game itself, I mean, Snell obviously is a Cy Young favorite alongside Steele. The Dodgers, some of that lineup, the bottom end of the lineup, was definitely exposed. So I mean, Clinton and Greg moving in towards the playoffs, like what does that have to do with it? We know all the pitching struggles, but where does that lie on terms of like, hey, if only Mookie and Freddie are the ones doing things?
Well, I mean, I think other guys are still doing things. They've been averaging 8 runs a game for a little while now. They can hit. The hit. There's no issue with the batting. That is not a thing that's going to happen. But the problem is the pitching. No matter what, it's always going to come back to it, because they're going to score 4, 5, 6 runs a game, sometimes up to 8. But it's what's worrisome to me is Ryan Pepio was finally bad. He got hit pretty good by the Padres, and now it's another guy that's been recently getting hit. Bobby Miller got hit. Emmett Sheehan got hit. Lance Lynn actually pitched well yesterday, but every other time, but 2 or 3 times before that, he was getting hit. So you're starting to see in the middle of September, all of your pitchers getting hit, and that is worrisome to me, because it's making it so that the bottom end of the lineup, like you're talking about, is going to have to step up huge, because if you don't score 8, 9, 10 runs a game, you're going to lose. And that's worrisome.
So here's what we're going to have to do from here on out, because we preach accountability in this program, and I'm going to start writing down. See, look at this. You see how I have loose leaf paper just at hand?
Because you have pencil because you move it around.
I have the pencil, but we're going to use pen here because I want to make sure that we get this right.
All right.
On what day is today? September the 14th. Pepio,
Thursday.
On the postseason roster or not?
Yes. Probably game 2. As of right now.
Pepio, yes.
Yes.
Okay. But are you yes?
I'm a yes. I'm a yes for reasons that have to do simply with numbers. Until somebody starts naming me who these other pitchers are, we're forced to roll with these dudes anyway. And so that's where this gets a little bit dicey. What do you think, Parker?
Yeah, Pepio for sure. I mean, we saw Hurt get optioned, which was like Clinton and I, we overreacted.
Right when I got excited,
we wanted him on the playoff
in friggin' Tulsa.
I told you, just take a step.
Okay,
let's relax.
September the 14th, we all have Pepio as a yes on the postseason roster. Meaning, as this goes on, this is what we're going to be, documenting, which is who is actually worth it from game to game, because this is the questions that people are going to have to be answering, not just in general, but in reality when it comes down to making these lineups and picking squads.
Yeah, because Bobby Miller is an obvious one. You can keep that for yes for every single one of them. I'm actually probably so we can have some kind of veteran in the lineup. I assume Lance Lynn, and that's kind of upsetting because he hasn't been that great.
Okay.
But he has to be. You have to have some kind of veteran presence on there. And I'm worried about Sheehan. I'm worried about Grove. I'm worried about Stone. You can't go into the postseason with 4 or 5 rookie starting pitchers.
I mean, you can, and they will. That's what we're getting at here.
I know.
This is the whole point.
But you can't expect to go anywhere if that's what happens. That's what's happening.
I repeat, this is exactly my point. Okay, so I'm writing down my chart. I'm trying to make it nice and organized. You see? So it's got like our initials on top and the names we will continue to fill as we go down the side.
Are you gonna post it on the microwave?
No, I put it on the fridge. So it's actually a really good idea. I like that. Okay, so Pepio gets check marks from all 3 of us.
Yep.
All right, there we go. We will keep this list as the day goes on. Do we have any questions from anybody in the peanut gallery?
Do you want to take it away, Parker?
Yeah, so we had a question from Klumsky Chrissy in the YouTube chat. Shout out Klumsky Chrissy. And she did mention, she said, do you think we can actually win the World Series with the pitching we have? So I know we've been beating this drum down and down, but just for the sake of answering Chrissy's question, can this team make the World Series?
You want to take it?
I'll go because this is actually a question we are going to tackle on television later today, which is there any realistic shot that somebody other than the Braves comes out of the National League? Now, you might recall, those of you longtime P1 listeners of Blue Review, when I asked Greg, if you eliminated the Braves, would you take the Dodgers or the field in this situation? Now, I still think that that's the lone chance the Dodgers have. The Dodgers can beat anybody. At least can walk into a situation and have the ability to think they have a shot as long as it's not Atlanta. Atlanta's pitching is too strong. Their lineup is too strong. But if for whatever reason, and I'm not wishing ill upon any other squads or anything, something befalls the Braves to the point that they just do not get to the CS, yeah, that's the shot that they have. I don't think they can go through Atlanta, but I think if they can find a way to squeak around them for whatever reason, they've got a shot to win it all.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They can beat anybody in the National League that's not Atlanta. If Atlanta goes to the NLCS, the Dodgers will not make it to the World Series. There's just flat out, that's not happening. They're way too good. Everybody's hitting home runs, and this team is giving up home runs like it's nothing anymore. So no, as long as Atlanta is nowhere near them, they can win it all. But otherwise, no. And also, I would say win the World Series with this. No, I don't think they can win the World Series with this pitching staff, especially if they don't have Kershaw. If Kershaw has not been, the answer to the question is no, because a team in the American League will be better than them.
Well, that gets us back to the question as to whether or not Kershaw needs to even be trying to get back at this stage of the game in terms of like what's going on. You know what I mean? Like
they can win if Kershaw plays. Because you can get him,
so?
you can get him at least 2 starts, and then you get luckily you get a lucky ones a couple places. They can do it if Kershaw is playing. If with no Kershaw, no.
Okay, but look at it like the Max Scherzer situation. Scherzer shut down for the year, couldn't get it done because he couldn't throw, basically, which is an injury. But Kershaw's not that dissimilar in terms of like, well, if the mechanics are off and you can't get it above 90, should you even be out there at all? This is a real question.
Yeah. Okay. So. He has to be as close to Kershaw as possible, and Max Scherzer doesn't count. Max Scherzer is injured every single postseason. He's got
I know
a tired
that. I was just offering it up as a comparable situation.
It's comparable. It's
decisions. Yeah,
it is comparable. But Clayton Kershaw is healthy in the postseason, whereas Max Scherzer never is. So if he's healthy and is Kershaw, they can. If he's not, if he's throwing 88, 89 miles an hour, that's not Kershaw, and that doesn't work. So a healthy Kershaw that can actually pitch, yes. Without him, no.
Parker, your thoughts?
No, I think I agree with Greg a bit, actually, Clinton, because whereas Scherzer is dealing with some weird, humorous, like Greg mentioned, it's every year, it's something different. Kershaw, it seems to just be fatigue and old age. And if he wanted to, he's the kind of guy to just throw himself into the ground, if it means winning a World Series. So if Clayton is pitching, I agree they could make the World Series and come out on top. But guys, I don't see any more questions here on the YouTube chat. So I'll hit you guys with one more.
Okay.
If the Dodgers are down 6, is Colton Wong just going to hit a home run every single
Colton
time?
Wong, by the way,
That's just what he does.
that was the most random of all things. I was like, oh, hello, Colton. Did not realize you were here. A, and B, you're leaving the yard. Like, that was great.
Yeah, that's not really his game, but hey, I'll take it every single time.
Like that swing, I mean, it looked like he put everything he had into that swing to get that ball out of there. It was fantastic.
No, very, very funny. All right, so let's do this. It's an off day today. So tomorrow, let's focus on the YouTube chat. Let's get people to come into the YouTube chat and ask as many questions as you possibly can give us, and we'll answer every single one of them. Hopefully not just on the pitching staff, because that's all we tend to talk about, but ask us any kind of question that you got.
Also, shouts to LAX, as I will be there today, as I'm going to Colorado tonight to cover football in Boulder. So this will be live from Boulder, Colorado tomorrow. I'll be checking you guys out.
By the way, have you been to Boulder? Have you been to Folsom Field before?
I have not been to Folsom Field before.
Oh, Folsom Field is beautiful. There's the whole Boulder campus is amazing. You have the mountains behind it that looks like a picture.
Yeah.
It's a Flatiron.
Have you spent some extensive amount of time in Boulder? I did not know.
My freshman year, I went to Boulder.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I asked you about this before. I
yes, you should have
forgot about that.
It's on the Folsom Field is on campus.
Yeah, I'll be
Ralphie
there,
runs around. Oh, it's incredible.
Okay.
Oh, it's amazing.
Right, we'll powwow about this tomorrow.
I got some place for you to go eat too. Silvermine subs. Silvermine subs. Go get it.
Good to know.
Fatty J's. Get some Fatty J's on the hill.
You want to come with me? Good Lord.
I do. I do.
All
right. This has been the Blue Review. Colorado Greg and Clinton Yates. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.